From deep in the heart of the San Fernando Valley, it's Hanging with Dr. Z. Tonight, special guest Janet Varney with Rusty Steel and the Steel Wheels. This monkey means business. The doctor will see you now.
Hey! Hello! Oh, hello! Good evening. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. I'm Dr. Z, that's Rusty Steel and the Steel Wheels right over there. How are you, Rusty?
I'm really, really upset, but everything is fine.
What's wrong now?
Just finding out when you find out who your real parents are, it's pretty weird.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. That's a toughie. How'd they tell you?
Well, I found out my parents don't want to know me, so they don't want me to know.
But you're getting divorced, basically. Your parents are emancipating themselves from you.
Yeah, which I didn't know you could do that.
Especially at your age. You seem to be a man well over 35.
I am just about over 35, yes.
You know what's one thing you never hear?
What?
Now that I've gotten my emotional shit worked out, I can really concentrate on becoming a ventriloquist.
I think ventriloquists are really funny.
True. You never hear people like, why'd you take up the klezmer? To meet chicks. Here's one thing you will hear. We've got a great show tonight. Janet Varney is with us. She's the voice of Kora and so much more. And we have two brothers from Michigan that are going to come out and eat corn out of a bucket. I don't know what the appeal is, but we do have that towards the end of the show. In the meantime, Rusty Steel and the Steel Wheels, you're hanging with Dr. Z. Don't let go.
Ray Burr is a good friend of ours, and he's got a new album coming out on the Fuxleyland label, A Fist Full of Raymond. Now, this album is a departure from the jazzy style scat crooning you've heard from Ray before. This time, he's tuning into the younger generation with songs like Stoned Soul Picnic and Mashed Potato Time. When isn't it? So throw away that BG garbage and flush Elton down the John. The new gargantua of pop has fully penetrated your favorite record store.
Stop, boopity-op-a-boop, pow! Thank you, Rusty. That was dynamite. Janet Varney, where does one begin? She's a dear friend of mine. Good Lord, I think I first met Janet at a potluck at Eric Burden's house. She's just the dearest. Please welcome your friend and mine, Janet Varney.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, Doctor.
Or is it Janet Varney?
You can call me Janet Varney. It's been done many times, much to my total confusion. I don't know how you get that from what you see on the page.
Indeed. Now, Janet.
Yes.
Hollywood's a small town.
It's pretty small.
And people talk.
Yes.
Oh, they love to talk.
They love to talk.
So, not to get you into any trouble and not to get you talking outside of school, but just between us girls.
Yes.
Who do you hate? I'll start. Suzanne Pleshette.
Oh, she's wonderful.
You've never sold her a house.
You've sold her a house?
How many times can you inspect a chimney, Janet?
I'm sorry to hear that about you and Suzanne. I would have thought that you would have gotten on like a house on fire. I don't want to bring house into it because I know that's a very sensitive subject for you.
You know, Cyndi Lauper was right. Money changes everything.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a, like if I had to say I have, a nemesis, I would say Florence Henderson, surprisingly. Most people think she's very nice.
Flo-Ho.
But Flo-Ho and I, we just don't mix. It's like oil and water because she was doing the Wesson oil commercials and I was doing the Evian commercials. And so she took that very literally.
She really did.
And also I had, at the time, I was doing a birthmark thing that I just thought was fun. fun and cute, but she really has one on the other side of her mouth. So she thought I was doing a whole thing where I was doing a wink at the audience, like, oh, look, I also have an ugly mole. And that's not what I was doing at all.
That's what I like. I like how birthmark, it's so much better than deformity.
Yeah, I agree.
I met Florence Henderson at running charades at Larry Flynt's house, where everyone ran but Larry. And she cheats at charades because she would be like, Pleshette also rises. So, you can't trust the woman.
No, you can't do that. That sounded more like Suzanne Pleshette, if I'm being honest.
Human women. So, Janet, tell me, your body can make milk.
I mean, mine personally, I guess it could. It doesn't.
I'm assuming I make tang.
That's a very, very safe assumption.
Let me ask you one more question, Janet. Pete Davidson, yes or no?
No.
No. Here's my take on Pete. He's like a house that someone was murdered in. It's not the house's fault.
Right.
But there's just a vibe.
Right.
You don't want to be around it. There's something funky in the fridge.
Yes. Yes.
So when you open it up, there's something funky in the fridge, and that's Pete to me.
Yeah, and that was Raymond Burr's. Was that his?
Funky in the Fridge was Ray's last album.
Oh,
his third album.
Great.
There was
his music.
Afternoon Moods. I'll finish those potatoes.
Funky in the Fridge.
Funky in the Fridge.
And a fistful of.
And a fistful of Raymond.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm such a fan. Usually we're together a little bit more in person, and you're so you don't respect personal space that much, so you really get right up here. So usually I can only see about this much of you.
It is true when you are of Simeon, it's a different social structure. But when I meet someone, especially someone that I'm such a fan of, like yourself, Janet, there's no higher compliment than to comb your hair for grubs and nits.
Yes, I've gathered that. I appreciate that.
But where can we see you next year? What do you want to let's plug something?
You can always listen to my podcast. It comes out free weekly.
The JV
you mentioned
Club?
it, the JV Club. And then there's some other stuff that I guess you just have to follow me on social media. Have you heard of social media?
Oh,
Doctor?
yeah, no, absolutely. I have a newsletter that I mail out, that I mimeograph and mail out. And I also post updates frequently on the corkboard outside the Laurel Canyon Country Store.
Right, so you get it. So you could follow me on social media at Janet Varney.
At Janet, Janet Varney.
That's right, and then you can hear about stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, which sounds cooler than it is.
Oh, all right. Now it gets interesting, and you drop that right as you have to leave.
Yeah, I do, and I did, and I have, and I will.
What a delight it is to always see you. Next time in person, I promise.
I'm sure you do. It sounds like a threat.
You and I are going to apple picking.
Oh, okay.
I love to take a weekend doing someone's job. Janet Varney, ladies and gentlemen, give her a nice round of applause. Tomorrow night, Madeline Albright and singer Gigi Allen. Rusty, get us out of here.